Hi there, everyone. Welcome to today's tarot reading from over here in Yuma, Arizona. So if you watched the video I made yesterday, I told you that we were headed down, my husband and I headed down here for him to get some dental work done. We're at the border here. Hey, Leslie. We're at the border of Mexico. Hi, Sandra. So I did a little research on Yuma, Arizona to find out about it because I'm curious like that. And I found out that this is the sunniest city on the planet. So there you go. So I was out and about a little bit today, walking around in the sunshine with the palm trees and going to the little old town. It's pretty cute. And so I just got back a little while ago, and it's time for my daily little tarot pull and insight here. So the card I pulled today is what's called a major arcana in the tarot deck. Hey, Susan. Hi there. So in the tarot, we have 4 suits, just like a regular card deck. And then there's 22 cards called the major arcana. And they go from 0 to 21. And these cards represent archetypally, symbolically, bigger soul lessons, if you will, or more important parts of our growth as humans. So in a moment, I'm going to show you what that card is. And I'm going to begin today by asking you what inner knowing is for you. Inner knowing. Do you relate to that phrase at all? Hey, Helen, welcome. Inner knowing. So just tune in for a moment to that statement. Hi, Troy. Welcome to this concept of inner knowing. And notice, hey, Peter, welcome. And notice if that phrase has meaning to you. So just taking a breath for a moment, just connect with this phrase, inner knowing. And breathe with that phrase, inner knowing. Inner knowing. And notice where you feel that in your body. Does that feel like something to you? Notice where in the body and what the sensation is. Inner knowing, if there's any access to that there. Hey, Laura Donna, welcome. And if something arises for you, either a sensation in your body or maybe a statement, or maybe it's something you're very familiar with, inner knowing, I would love to hear from you. So leave a little comment down there, because you know I always reply to the comments, not so much when I'm making the video, but after. I will always go back and reply if you make a comment. So I really want to invite you to tune into what this meaning is for you, inner knowing. And some of you who are here, I know you already are very connected with that. So give me some feedback here if that has meaning for you, because it's relevant to the card that I'm going to share in a moment. So what happened, it was interesting because I had a really deep meditation this morning, and then I went about my day and I did some writing and some correspondences and did some business stuff, and so it was very much in my brain. And then I went for a walk and I cruised around and I checked out the little village here, and then I came back and meditated a little bit, but not as much, and pulled a card. And I pulled this card and I was like, wow, I don't feel really connected with this at all, even though, I've been using the cards for so long. So, and that told me that I was really in my intellecty, in my left brain. So I dropped into meditation just for a few moments, just a few breaths, just to kind of connect. And here came the words, inner knowing. Inner knowing. So I'm not seeing any responses from anyone yet, and I'm curious if it's just because this is too obvious for you. Is it too obvious? Or is it too irrelevant? So even that would be helpful information for me, so I know how I can frame up this conversation in a way that's actually in service to you. So, okay, so enough preamble. Inner knowing. Here's the card. And in this tarot deck, which is the Barbara Walker tarot deck, which, by the way, was the second deck I ever worked with as a young woman, although this is a brand new physical version of this. Thanks, Helen. Yes, always a good reminder to trust yourself. So connected, trusting ourselves with inner knowing and self-trust. Those two are absolutely connected. So this card is called the Pappas, and I know all these videos, they come in backwards, right? But the Pappas. And this is connected with what would be the High Priestess in a regular tarot deck, in a sort of traditional deck. So this is the number 2. It's a major arcana. And you see this priestess-like or empress-like woman standing between the 2 pillars, the alpha and the omega, the beginning and the end. Thanks, Susan. Yes, definitely resonating with this. Great. So the Pappas is the empress. The Pappas is the High Priestess. She is the feminine connection to the divine. And so I want to take a few minutes to talk about that, because there's the Pope and the Pappas, or the Hierophant and the High Priestess, or the priest and the priestess, or the shaman and the priestess. In other words, the masculine principle and the feminine principle. So the Pappas, High Priestess, these qualities, this is the feminine spiritual connection. Now that doesn't mean it's just women, because we all have this. So I want to talk about the feminine principle of accessing inner knowing. And it's basically connecting with the void. It's going into the void place. So that's not just about being a woman or a man. That's about when we drop into that dark, void, empty place, the silence that comes when we've either meditated for enough years or sat long enough, sometimes a combination, to let the noise dissipate and drop in and connect. Just really let that connection happen. Hey Jules, welcome. So our theme today is inner knowing, and the tarot card is the High Priestess or Pappas. So it's that feminine way of connecting with wisdom, guidance, higher self, deeper wisdom. And so inner knowing is not the intellect-y. It's not knowledge. Sometimes knowledge can help us put the pieces together, especially if we're teachers. So if you're a teacher and you are connecting to divine guidance, you have to have the skills of a teacher to communicate in a way that's going to make sense. And that's always my effort and intention, is to improve my teaching ability as well as continue with my own inner practice so that I can access inner knowing, divine guidance, and then bring it through to you. So I'm curious about those of you who watch this now or later. Where in your life do you find that this concept of inner knowing would be either more helpful or has been helpful for you? So this can be like a little bit like gut feeling, but it's more a gut feeling comes when you have to make a choice, or when you're in there's an immediacy to it, like, oh, I just don't feel good about that, I'm not going to do that, or oh, I'm just getting such a yes, going for that. So it's immediate and then action, generally speaking. Whereas inner knowing is more like when we're consistently connected with our own inner guidance. It's like, I know, like I know, like I know. I know that this is my path. I know that it's time for me to make a change. I know that I can trust when I get that image in my head during meditation, that is my true guidance. So I would like to know, I would love to hear from each of you. So Jules says in all areas of her life. That's excellent. So where is that inner knowing operating for you? Or for some of us, sometimes we feel sort of blocked from inner knowing. And that can happen when you're under a lot of stress. Because when you're under a lot of stress, you're literally chemically in the brain, you're dealing more with immediacy, fight or flight, that kind of thing. It's very hard to access inner knowing. Or when you've dropped your meditation discipline, sometimes you try and go at it with the mind or the intellect, and it doesn't work. So, and then, so where in your life maybe do you need to feel like, gosh, I'm not trusting myself about this, or I don't know what to do. I feel like I can't access my inner knowing. So thank you for letting me know that this is a good reminder for you, Jules. So yeah, staying connected so that we can access our inner knowing. And then let me just tune in, because I feel like there's something else that needs to come through about this, about the inner knowing and the High Priestess. It's really something about giving yourself permission to get still and connect with the void. That until we do that consistently, inner knowing can be hit or miss. Or it could be the monkey mind trying to disguise itself as inner knowing. How do we know the difference? Well, the difference really is more about, it's really much more about that still small voice that feels very safe and very calm. It's not analyzing. It's not showing you what needs to not happen and what needs to happen. It's not organizing and ordering things in this sort of frenetic or even just rigid fashion. Inner knowing is a sense that we then add words to expand or understand. So this is a bit abstract. I get that. I understand if it is. However, hey, Marcia, hi. Good to see you. Yes, caught me live at the end of it anyway. So right now I need to wrap up because I actually have a client call here in a few moments. So once again, my invitation is to share with me, what does inner knowing mean for you? How does it show up for you? Where in your life maybe is inner knowing something you need more of? Are you keeping a practice that allows you to be like the Pappas or the High Priestess, who tunes in, drops in, connects, and accesses with the breath, with that stillness in the void, that sense of inner knowing that allows you to trust yourself, to trust the flow of life, to trust your inner guidance, and to move forward from that inner knowing to the outer movement. So anything that feels resonant for you or relevant with regard to inner knowing, please share with me. I love to hear from you. So share a comment in the links below. And after I publish this, I will go ahead and put my link to my free gift on my website above. So by all means, feel free to check it out. It's an empowerment library, and I don't ever sell your name. It's private with me, so it's just first name, email address, and you have access to my empowerment library. And there's some tools in there to help you get connected with your own inner knowing, or to get you back on track when you get off, and we all get off track sometimes. So, for today, from Yuma, Arizona, the sunniest city in the world, apparently, I wish you bright blessings and much love until tomorrow. Mwah.